a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC Worldwide, brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. The two Amish girls kidnapped from their home in northern New York are back home. The St. Lawrence County District Attorney confirmed Thursday night the girls made their way to a house in Richville, about 15 miles from where they were taken. The two girls knocked on the door and asked the homeowner for a ride. That homeowner, identified by WWNY-TV as Jeff Stinson, recognized 12-year-old Fannie Miller and her 7-year-old sister Delilah from the media coverage. He drove them home and returned them to their parents about 9 p.m. WWNY says the girls reported being abducted by two men who took them to a house and left them there and told them not to leave, but the girls ran and went looking for help until they stumbled across Stinson's house. The kidnappers remain at large. They took the two Amish girls from their family's roadside vegetable stand Wednesday evening. A neighbor reported seeing a white four-door sedan stopping at the stand. The witness saw a man put something in the back seat, get in the back seat, and then when the car left, the girls were gone. New York's Education Department has released test scores showing more than two-thirds of the state's elementary and middle school students not proficient in English and just one-third proficient in math. The good news is that the math scores are definitely improved from last year. The state released the results from this year's standard ELA and math tests, which are given to third graders and eighth graders. This is the second year of testing based on the Common Core curriculum, and it was the first full year for the English and math, so nobody was expecting too much. But state education officials say they did see improvement in math scores across all race and all income groups, the scores going from 31 to 36% of students considered proficient. The English language scores, they were essentially unchanged, 31% proficient and ready for college. For the city of Rochester, students scoring tops in math went from 4.8 to 6.8%, the English score essentially unchanged. More than 700 people attended the funeral of race car driver Kevin Ward Jr. near his hometown of Port Leyden. The service was held in the South Lewis Senior High School auditorium to handle the crowd. Most wore some combination of orange and black, the colors of Ward's racing team, and balloons were released on the count of 13 for his sprint car, number 13. Ward was killed Saturday night at the Canandaigua Motor Sports Park after he got out of his car after a wreck and was hit by NASCAR champion Tony Stewart's car. All three suspects in the murder of a Rochester teenager are now under arrest. Police say they picked up 18-year-old DeAndre Francis on Wednesday and charged him with second-degree manslaughter and gang assault. The victim was 17-year-old Trayvon Teasley. He was stabbed to death in June on Genesee Street. Vincent Bean, who's charged with the actual murder, and Ronald Nelson were arrested earlier in the week. Spencerport firefighters responded Thursday afternoon after a car went into a house. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says the driver fell asleep at the wheel on West Ridge Road in Parma, just missed a tree, and hit the basement window of a vacant house. The car actually went through the window and halfway into the basement, causing significant damage to the house, which has been condemned. The driver suffered minor injuries. Federal prosecutors say a 28-year-old Rochester man pleaded guilty to sex trafficking a minor. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Marquez Williams used an internet-classified site called Backpage.com to market the services of a 15-year-old girl. Williams admitted he knew the girl was underage and admitted paying her as a sex worker. His sentencing has not yet been scheduled. An Orleans County senior citizen was arrested Thursday after investigators found his backyard marijuana garden. The Orleans County Felony Task Force and Medina Police went to his house on a tip and found some 20 marijuana plants growing along a fence. They seized the plants and arrested 67-year-old James Hobbs on account of unlawfully growing cannabis. Additional charges are likely. Senator Charles Schumer says the Superfund is badly underfunded and it is blocking places like the village of Holly from cleaning up contaminated industrial sites and getting them back on the tax rolls. The New York Democrat used the former Diaz chemical company in Holly as a background to announce a plan for significantly boosting the nation's main toxic cleanup program. He wants Congress to reinstate a federal tax once paid by companies using toxic chemicals that supported the Superfund until it expired. He also wants an increase in the basic funding from Congress. Neither of those is likely to happen with the current climate in Congress. But Schumer says something needs to be done. Plans have been approved and ready for 2 years to clean up the Diaz site, but it's going to cost $14 million to do the job. There's no money in the Superfund to pay for it, and it's far too expensive for the village to support.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
The 2014 Quick Fill Rochester International Air Show is underway this weekend at the Greater Rochester International Airport, featuring the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Ticket information at www.quickfillairshow.com. Thunderbirds are go. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of these pages and catch one. We post updates as necessary when the server's up. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.